Hi, it's Dr. Bob with Christine Mikulka, and I wanted to talk just for a few minutes about active listening with Christine. You read something or heard something that you shared with me earlier, and I wanted you to share that right now and then just talk about it for a couple of minutes.
Well, I read an article on active listening, and she was, I believe, the CEO of GE, and she talked about how she had read many articles in psychology about listening versus talking, and how one needs to actively listen to work well in the organization and connect with people, and how she didn't really realize the extent of it until she had laryngitis for 1 week and couldn't speak. And so she said that by taking her speaking out of the entire equation, she found herself so much more focused and so much more connected to her employees and understanding not only what they were saying maybe, but their tone of what they were saying and what they really meant by what they were saying, and how that really helped her, and realized how much more active listening really is than what most people do. Because she said that lots of times we think we're actively listening and we might get a lot of the meaning, but how many times are we still thinking about what we're going to say next, or connecting to a point and what experiences that holds?
I was just doing that.
We all do that while we're going through, because it's part of the conversation. So it's just very interesting.
I'll tell you what I was thinking about as I was only half listening to Christine. I'm embarrassing busted. I was thinking about one of my favorite theorists in psychology. I read him years ago. I used to teach his material. His name was Robert Stolorow. He said that once you get what Christine's talking about, or the CEO is talking about, once you get how much difference it makes to have somebody listen to you actively, that you won't let yourself off the hook ever again when you're not listening actively. I wasn't right now, it's the truth. I was thinking about Robert Stolorow and taking in what you said. And you know, you've heard of that prototypical couple that's sitting at the breakfast table, and the woman says to the man reading the newspaper, "Harvey, did you hear anything I said?" And he says, "Yes, Myrtle, I heard everything you said," and he recites it verbatim, and she leaves the table mad. And it's about that, is that I can parrot what you said, but if I wasn't fully present, you know that. Every cell of your being knows that. And that's what Stolorow is saying, is that once we really get that, we won't let ourselves get away with that. This is in the context of a series now on addiction and recovery, and it's been one of my pieces. I'll finish with this. It's just a brief little snippet here. Is that over the years, I've just been thinking about this in the last day or two with clients that I'm working with currently, how frequently it's the case that the people I'm talking to talk about the use of substance as a way to anesthetize what it feels like to be so lonely or so disconnected, feeling like their intimate others, whether it's parents or a partner or family members or a boss, don't really take the time to listen. I have a hunch it's epidemic. That we kind of let each other off the hook with this. The problem is it's very costly, and I know this, especially working in addictions, is to the extent that we don't feel connected, we're going to want something to fill that hole. And if alcohol or a drug or some high, some addiction can fill that, then I'll use that. The image I've had is it's a little bit like eating Twinkies. You can eat Twinkies and they'll keep you alive, at least for a while, but it's not really nourishing. And so the addictions are that way to me. They're an attempt, they're like an antidote to this feeling of not feeling listened to, not connecting. And I think that that's a fundamental human need. So I do think that active listening does connect, not even indirectly, to the course of addiction. And I think also to recovery. I think this is the success of the 12-step groups, is that you're in a group, and ideally you've got people that not only know your story or sharing their story, but also are listening, really are listening actively. Any more from you, Christine?
Well, I think it's really interesting kind of how you connected both of them, but I think that both of them too, while you're talking about kind of the Twinkies example, is that how while you're doing that, it creates even more problems that you might not necessarily even have anticipated, and now you have to deal with all of
now
that.
You've got Twinkie poisoning.
Yeah, right.
You know, you just know that's not a good thing. Okay, thank you very much. Thanks, Christine. All right.